Check, check. Mic check. Mic check.
Pardon my language. I'm a Catholic, obviously. Favor every other ground reason, so we're not all sitting for every other.
Folks, 7 o'clock, so we will get started. First of all, thank you for attending. This is our public forum in regards to our new administrative office. It is the referendum that you folks will see on the November 4th ballot. So if you're not here for that reason, you're welcome to stay and hear about it. But at least you know what you're here for. Hopefully you leave here with all of your questions answered. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'll go through. I am not a fan of reading word for word from every slide. This slideshow will be posted on our website when we are done, if not tomorrow morning. Once we get through the slideshow and a couple individuals who are joining us here today will have an opportunity to speak, we'll put the podium up here so you folks can ask any questions. I will try my best, along with Mr. Booth, who is our Director of Facilities. We'll try our best to answer everything. If we cannot answer it, we do have a note taker here tonight, so she will take down the question and we will post that on our website so that all the questions are answered. So here are our objectives for tonight. Hopefully, as I mentioned, you're going to be able to learn something out of this. I know that there have been a number of questions in regards to the building. There has certainly been a lot of information that is not accurate that I have heard about, and hopefully after tonight we'll be able to clear all of that up. So the first thing that we're going to deal with is the history of the building. We need to understand why we're going to have our referendum, why the new building is needed. You'll see some pictures, you'll see some videos, you'll hear some stories from the staff, why the modular option was chosen, learn how much a new building will cost you folks, and myself as a taxpayer, and hear from the students we have here from UTC. So if you're not certain, this is the current building. This is located at 24 Main Road North. If you're going down Main Road, if you look up from the Napa store, it is directly to your right. One of the problems also, and we'll talk about some deficiencies throughout the evening, but one of the problems in this particular building, and I couldn't isolate it to a particular room or area because it's throughout the building. This particular building, over the course of a school year and a calendar year, we have to have a number of confidential conversations. This building is not confidential. The walls are thin. You can hear conversations 2 offices down. You can hear conversations that are occurring downstairs, upstairs, and vice versa. So it is not confidential whatsoever. The sides of the building, we have our east side on your right, west side on your left. The east side has a total of 4 different parking spaces, one of which is dedicated to handicap. The west side has 10 parking spaces. If you've seen our building at times when we're hosting a meeting, it is very difficult to find even a single parking space. Oftentimes we find ourselves parking on the side of the road where parents park for dismissal and arrival time, and buses shuttle back and forth. The one handicap spot, we'll talk about that entrance. If you can see right here, is the only entrance that anyone who is wheelchair bound could get into. We'll talk about the dimensions there in a second, but this is not a handicap accessible building. If by fact someone who is wheelchair bound could get into it, the space that they can get through is extremely limited, including bathrooms. So we had, beginning of the school year, our all-staff management day. We had the opportunity to host a fantastic keynote speaker. We could not have him meet us in our building because he was wheelchair bound. Even if he could get into our building, we did not want to invite him into our building because if he needed to use the restroom, he absolutely could not use the restroom because that is not handicap accessible. So the dimensions of this particular door are less than ADA requirements. The opening itself is 35 inches. The problem is when you open the door, it doesn't open all the way. So technically, it's a 32-inch opening. Some wheelchairs certainly could fit through that. If they could get through it, there's a desk immediately to your right. One of our staff members works there, a work area. If the individual could get past that to the conference table, we would be very fortunate. But it is highly unlikely that they could get there, but we wouldn't host them. So Our staff are quite embarrassed by the fact that we cannot host someone in our building. We cannot invite them into our building because of that. So we would make arrangements to meet somewhere else. The building itself, go through a little bit of history. The building was built in 1969. As I mentioned, it is not handicap accessible. What I would say, we'll talk about a coincidence in a minute, but a little bit more about it itself. 1969 was the year that Hamden Academy became a public school. So, in addition to that, the year after, Winterport became part of the district. So as one can imagine, staff are needed. The district has grown. The district has grown by an entire school. The district has also grown by an entire town. So the need for the building was quite obvious. So this particular building was built, as I mentioned, in 1969. The main floor has 1,400 square feet, and it consists of 5 offices, a workspace. If you enter our building, and you'll see a short video of it in a moment, if you enter our building, you'll see that open workspace. We have a conference room that was converted to a conference room. Previously was an office, and 1 bathroom. Downstairs in the basement, if you were to go down the stairs or access it through the external door, there are 2 offices, 1 workspace right by the door, a server room, which is for our internet. We also utilize that as our mail room. We have a postage machine. We have a storage room for our files, a boiler room, custodial closet, another bathroom, and an open area for storage, and a second conference table. And you'll see that as well. Some more history. There have been other positions in this particular office a few years ago. We have relocated our whole special education program. They are housed at Reedsbrook at this point. That used to be housed in the central office. We also used to have a curriculum director at the central office. That is located at Hamden Academy now. So we have moved other people out because we did not have space. As you can imagine, things change. We'll talk about a few things that have changed in education lately, but a lot of things have changed, and so therefore the needs of the district have, we've been required to acquire some different positions. By no means are we looking to add new positions, and I know that was something that was discussed. The process and the intent of this referendum has nothing to do with adding positions. The diagram that you have, if you want a copy, the floor plan is up here, along with some state statutes. The diagram of that particular floor plan has the current staff that we have, adding the curriculum director back into the building. We have been able to acquire some more space over the years for storage purposes. As you can imagine, we have roughly 350 employees every single year that work for us. We have over 2,000 students that attend RSU 22. The required files that we have to maintain and keep for an extended period of time is quite extensive. And so our 1 small storage room is absolutely not enough. We have files that date back to, we have to keep some files permanently, we have to keep some for 60 years, we have to keep some for just a year, but once those add up with the number of employees and students, you can imagine how many files we have. So we have been able to utilize what we consider the old fire station, and that old fire station is a building that belongs to the town of Hamden. So for more than 20 years, we've been able to utilize that space for a variety of storage reasons, including our required files. That agreement is ending in June, so we do not have that space anymore. What we have done is we have utilized the storage trailers. We purchased storage trailers during the COVID times. If you have seen down by the turf field and the practice football field, there are storage trailers lined up. That is where we have our files and other equipment that we need to store. So storage is also a main issue. Discussions about replacing this particular building, I know personally have existed since the early 2000s. Could very well have been before that, I just don't have that knowledge. But specifically, most recently, 2014, it was discussed. Why was that discussed? Because that was getting ready and preparing for the new school construction application process. That was for the Weatherby and McGraw project. So in 2014, they were getting ready for that. The intent was to move the central office to that new construction had they been approved. McGraw rated 20th on that list. They withdrew that option. 2021 was the last formal conversation that happened prior to now in this discussion. 2021, RSU 22 solicited the business, a local business, to provide two different options. Both options included a complete or somewhat of a remodel of the current floor plan, current building, plus an expansion. And you'll see more about that in a moment. But both of those options, those two options, would also require a referendum. So we'll get to that in just a moment. So why a referendum? And I know this was a question that was asked. We have money set aside in a reserve account. Why is it a referendum? Right here is the state statute. This is considered a school construction project. Even though we are not constructing a physical school, by state statute, it is considered a school construction project. So we have to go to referendum. The only time you don't have to go to referendum are the two exceptions down at the bottom. One of which is a storage facility or a maintenance area, or a building that is less than 600 square feet. And we will come back to that in a moment as well. So here is why we need to go to referendum. This is going to, the next two slides are going to be just a short snippet of the first floor and the basement. I did not go into offices with this video. I simply walked in the main area so that those of you that have not been in our building can get an idea of what it looks like. I will stop it a number of times to point out a few things, but at least it gives you an idea of what we're talking about. So right where you enter into the building, and we'll revert back to this in a moment, so that's why I'm letting it go. So if you were to enter, oh shoot, sorry, can't push that button. So you would enter in just to the left of these storage doors. So this is a small storage closet. This is where we put our mail when it is delivered or it needs to go out. Summertime, it's quite interesting in this area, especially when schools are closed down, because during the course of the summer, our schedules at schools are sporadic. And so UPS, FedEx delivers everything to this office. We will have I'll use the term an overabundance of packages right in this area. Certainly not much space. Down the hallway, there is an office to the right, bathroom, and an office to the left, and obviously the staircase is right here. Small storage, you'll see a picture of that in a moment. And then the rest of the open area. Office, 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 and right here is that conference room I was referring to. And the workspace that is open to the entryway. So that's the first floor. Now, the basement, this starting point is just coming down the staircase. So as you can see, this is the conference table that I was referring to. There is the workspace here, and inside that is another office. See the doorknob just on the right, that is our storage room, our file room, and I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. Apologies, this is where I need the video and audio production group. I'll just let it play and I'll talk. We're going to see another office just to the left, right here, open area. Storage, we've made storage. We'll try to pause it here. Sorry. You're going to see other pictures. Bathroom, boiler room, and then the open storage area. So you get the idea. The next few slides, I really just wanted to point out some deficiencies. And while these are small, I want to paint a picture that added together, it's a much larger project. Because when we just talk about ceiling tiles, we have moldy ceiling tiles, we have damaged ceiling tiles, we have a number of ceiling tiles. As a matter of fact, throughout the building itself, we have 4 different styles of ceiling on the main floor. In the basement, we have 3. So in total, we have 7 different styles of ceiling in our entire building. You can see a variety of them in these pictures. But some of them mold, just simply old age, probably movement of the building, clearly original tiles, more mold, and damaged ones. Different style doesn't even fit in the track anymore. Water damage. This is the upstairs bathroom. This, on heavy rainstorms, I would define it as a steady drip into the bathroom. Every single time. To the point that it's just not even worth trying to repair it anymore. We have had people assess the roof, assess the shingles, with no conclusion whatsoever. Flooring. So flooring has a variety of styles as well. Upstairs, 6 different styles of flooring. 2 rooms are carpeted. I don't know what is underneath the carpet. I don't know how long the carpet has been there, but I'm only depicting tiles at this point. Downstairs, we have 2, none of which match the upstairs. So while these look like they're just 2 or 3 or 4 tiles, the problem is the entire flooring needs to be replaced. So again, another larger project that needs to be done. Not part of this particular presentation are the windows. I would venture a guess that the windows are from the 1969 original build. Single pane windows, one, absolutely 100% of the time, 365 days a year, condensation. Cannot remove it. It doesn't matter if it's 30 below or 100 degrees. There's condensation in that particular window, and the window doesn't even open. Our storage room, file room, it represents just over 87 square feet of floor space. So I'm not sure if the picture does it any justice, but there isn't much room to walk in there. Again, 350 employees every year, over 2,000 students every year, and we try as hard as we can. Plus, all the budget documents, financial documents, general ledgers, transactions that we have to keep in a business like that. It's very difficult to store everything that we need to. Just as an example, student records range anywhere from 5 years to permanent that we have to keep. School operation records, 1 year to permanent. Property records, 2 years to permanent. Financial records, 2 years to permanent. Payroll records, 3 years to permanent. Personal records, 1 year to permanent. These aren't just single papers, I can assure you. They're boxes. Board of Directors records, 5 years to permanent. This particular room, thanks to the work of the staff in the office, has been cleaned out tremendously. We have started a process following the main archives statute where we have gotten rid of documents that we don't need. But there are still a number of documents that we still have to maintain and keep. We have looked into digitizing documents. At the time, it was extremely expensive, and we chose to discard the ones that we could and keep the ones that we needed to keep. More storage spaces. We make storage when we can find it. Obviously, in some of these areas you saw, this is that server room I was referencing with the postal machine, and this is the storage upstairs in the main area. Bathrooms, 2 bathrooms, again, not handicap accessible. This particular one is a little smaller than the downstairs one. What's interesting is, and you're going to meet some students soon, but I had the opportunity to share all of my photos with a couple of the students, and they came and interviewed some of the staff members. And so I asked them, did I lie about the photos? And the response was something along the lines of, these photos don't do it any justice. The bathroom is actually smaller than what your photos depict. So let me give you an example. The distance, this is the upstairs, mind you, the distance from the door to the tip of the toilet, 3.5 inches. The distance when closing the door to the sink, 2 inches. So in order to use this bathroom, one literally has to walk in adjacent to the toilet, stand next to the toilet to close the door. Absolutely not handicap accessible. This bathroom is, to give you the dimensions, or at least the square footage, 22 3/4 square feet. This bathroom, and I'm trying to be serious here, but it also consists of a kitchen sink. This bathroom is a little larger at 25, almost 26 square feet. And I'm being serious when I say kitchen sink, because this is the only sink that our staff have to wash dishes. The sink is less than 2 feet from the toilet. The drying rack that you see here, where dishes are actually placed, is less than 4 feet from the toilet. I'm not a scientist, but I challenge any one of you to go to YouTube tonight. Look at a black light study about what happens when a toilet flushes. To use the term gross or disgusting is an understatement. But that's what the staff is dealing with. Just to go back here again. Downstairs bathroom, notice again, we just haven't even finished it because it has leaked so many times. This is one of the finished ceilings, sheetrock ceilings. That has been cut out permanently just simply because it constantly leaks. An office like ours obviously needs a lot of wires, whether that's plug-in wires for internet or electrical wires. I'm not sure what the code was in 1969, but certainly the need for outlets is much more than what we have. We are lucky to have 2 outlets in an office, and if there are 2 outlets, they're not even remotely close to each other. And so one desk workstation needs multiple plugs. And so obviously we have resorted to what you see. So option 1 and option 2. These are the 2 options that we talked about from 2021. Just as a complete disclaimer, we are not voting November 4th for this or option 2. You are strictly voting for a modular facility. But I want you to see what the district has done in the past and the work that they have put in to show you that why the district believes the modular is the best option. So back in 21, option number 1 was to remodel the main floor, first floor, and to build an expansion almost 1,500 square feet. So that expansion would be in essentially the west side of the building, that parking lot. All of the offices would be located on the main floor. There would be nothing done to the basement. The office would be handicap accessible, which means the door would need to be relocated. In addition to that, in order to make the expansion, the staircase needs to be relocated. So there are some bigger projects within that. The price at the time in 2021 was just over $1 million. 2 weeks ago, RSU 22 got the new quote from the same person that put this quote together, who is an extremely reputable individual who works on this all the time, and the price came in at 21% more. So this option is over $1.3 million. Option 2, same thought, but a little different. Remodel the current main floor and basement with a smaller expansion, 621 square feet. Seems a little odd that the expansion is a little smaller and it's more, but that's because it's a complete upstairs and downstairs remodel. Same thing, would be ADA accessible, move the staircase, and move the front door. So, when we saw those 2021 numbers, we as in Building Committee, Board of Directors, we felt we could do better. We thought that we could get this cheaper. So we put this out to bid. Put it out to bid, we ended up with 4 bids. One bid came out on top, business called Modular Genius. Last June, money was set aside during the district budget meeting, $1.6 million, to pay for a new building. So it is sitting right now in a reserve account. If this passes, what that means is that there is absolutely zero funding asked of any of our 4 communities. It's already there. It's like going to a car dealership and being able to pay cash for your car, having 0 payments whatsoever, no interest whatsoever. That's what we're talking about. The district is not asking for any money for this particular building because it's already there. And the intent has always been, in this project alone, to not ask for any additional funds for this project. So Modular Genius, where would it go? It would go right next to the current building. The advantage with the Modular Genius approach is that our office can stay status quo until move-in day. Option 1 and 2, we have to find another spot because we simply cannot work when they are remodeling an entire building. So not only would we have to find another spot, we don't know how long that would last. It may end up in renting a space. More than likely, it would last longer than a summer, so we would definitely have to rent a space. The size of the building is 53 by 70, a total of 3,700, just over 3,700 square feet. The basement would be a full basement. It would be unfinished, could be utilized for storage. That's one of our major issues at this point. It would be fully handicap accessible, and the price is $977,000. And you're going to see a comparison of all 3 of them in a moment. Question about this. This includes everything. Concrete, landscaping, concrete earthwork, building. It includes all of that. So this price was a little higher when we first got it, but as we started talking with them about a partnership with our UTC programs, they spoke, determined what could be done by our students, what needed to be done by them. What would happen is Modular Genius would deliver us a building, and Bill can speak to this a little more if I can't, but would deliver us a building, seal it up, do everything they needed to do, so then UTC could finish it. Everything. So the reserve account. I know one question was asked about utilizing funds or establishing a reserve account. This is the state statute that indicates how you can establish, or for what reasons you can establish a reserve account. RSU 22 is absolutely doing everything legal in what they're doing. And I know that was a concern. But there is absolutely nothing that the district is doing that violates any state statute whatsoever, including the establishment of a reserve account for this particular building. And why is that? Because it is a school construction project, and it clearly states it. So where would it go? We talked about it going next to our building. Specifically, it would go in the area of the apple orchard, and this has been a concern with some. While we don't have exact details, I'm going to give you the information that we've received recently and a recommendation. So we did have an arborist come in to talk to us about this particular orchard. The orchard is 10 years old. We have some options. We could relocate the trees. There are a total of 17 trees. 3 of them right now are dead. And so really we're down to 14. If you know anything about relocating a tree, I learned a lot, actually. It's very interesting. Because you can't just simply cut it up at the base of the tree. You have to go all the way out beyond the drip edge. The drip edge is usually, if you look at a tree, go back here, if you look at a tree, the drip edge, take this one for instance, is right at the end of the base of the leaves. And you go out a little bit further than that. You have to take out a ball of roots up to that area in order to possibly save a tree. So we would have, aside from the ones that we cut because they were dead, we would have 14 gigantic holes in this area. So it's very expensive. You take an extremely large ball of soil and roots and a large mature tree, find a trailer and a person that could actually relocate it for us and plant it, hoping it would survive. The problem with the trees that we have, every single one of them have what they call mechanical damage. Mechanical damage is caused by a mower, a weed whacker. You can look at the base of the trees and see the damage to them. So when you take a tree that is that mature and you have to dig out its root system, and it already has damage, some of which have insects, the likelihood of them surviving is very slim. So the recommendation by this individual was to plant new ones. And why plant new ones? He actually referenced a research study that if you take a tree that has a 1-inch diameter, so referencing a 1-year-old tree, and you compare that to a 5-inch diameter, 5-year-old tree, you plant them in the same environment, you treat them in the same exact way, the research has shown that the 1-year-old tree produces better fruit and survives better than the 5-year-old tree. So that's the recommendation. Again, we haven't decided what route to go, but there are other ways to do this. We could eliminate only the trees that needed to be eliminated and keep those that are not impacted. The unintended consequence to that would be the construction area. Obviously, construction area is not confined to a 53 by 70 foot area. It expands beyond that. So we certainly can assess what we can remove, what we should remove, and determine whether we need to remove them all or some of them. Another option is to, and this was from him, I really liked it, offer cuttings of the trees that we have to eliminate to the community members. Because then the community members could actually root it themselves, plant it, and have the DNA of one of our RSU 22 trees. I thought that was a pretty good idea. Or plant new trees. I will say, we are about ready to submit our grant to Project Canopy. Project Canopy, we are requesting $15,000 from that organization for the purpose of planting and purchasing new trees. And we feel as though, based on this individual talking to us, we feel as though we have a very good shot at getting that. specifically because the district has not gotten that grant before. And then obviously the last thing is just a combination of all of them. That's one thing that we haven't concluded. But it absolutely is the recommendation of the individual who we had come in to eliminate the trees and start them. So, mentioned very briefly UTC. UTC is United Technology Center. We have a great slew of individuals here that will be up in just a moment to talk to you about it. This is an unbelievable opportunity to partner with UTC. And on the right of the screen in that open area, there is something very important that is just about ready to pop up. This is an opportunity for their students, and it does not replace UTC. Some people believe that we are constructing a building to put students, CTE students in that building, and not send them to UTC. That is not what we're doing. Our Hampton Academy students, the individuals sitting here, plus the other 90 or so kids that go to UTC, will still go to UTC. UTC will still exist. These students are just simply helping us with the project. They are having hands-on experience in this project and giving back to the community. Oftentimes, students at UTC may not have as much hands-on experience. It might be more classroom-based. They work hard to get them as much hands-on experience as they can. But there are some programs that have more than others. This is an opportunity to get at least 6 that we know of for sure, maybe other programs involved in this project. And right in front of me are representatives from Hampton Academy, right here in RSU 22, who will be or are already part of the project. So, without further ado, I have 2 individuals I'm going to introduce first, and then they will do the work of introducing the rest of them. So I would like to invite up Adam McClure and Alex Adams to the stage. These 2 individuals are part of the business leadership program. I've met with them a few times, and they also met with my staff. And they have a couple of slides that they're going to go through, and then they will introduce the rest of the students that we have.
Good evening, everyone. I am Adam McClure. I am a junior at Hampton Academy, and I'm a first-year business student. This is Alex Adams. He has also been nominated to do this with me. We have been able to have a unique opportunity to see into what a future in business management might be. We've helped conduct meetings, and we've tried to put together as much information as we can for this project. So one of the big things that I thought was important was the staff interviews, getting the point of view from the people who actually work in these buildings. The first question that we asked them was, do you think there's a need for a new administrative building? Starting off simple, but this was a unanimous yes from every single person that we talked to. Some negative experiences, specific stories that they'd like to share was something I thought was pretty interesting, especially for a building like this that people working all the time, is that a boiler malfunctioned, which was a big thing. There was black smoke through the entire building, and it was overall a pretty terrible experience for the people that were working there. Another thing is the layout, since there's a lot of people that are upstairs, a lot of people that are downstairs, and the issues with storage, as Mr. Lehman already showed. It's hard to find files. You have to go up and downstairs constantly to find things. And the other thing, bathrooms being unusable for a lot of people. And I can confirm that the pictures up here did not do it justice at all. It was a lot smaller than it looked up here. Another question that I thought was important is, do you feel safe in the current building? A lot of people talked about the security and just the overall feeling and environment of the building. A direct quote from one of the people that work there is that they could even kick the door in at their old age. The doors that we went into we went into one door, and there was a small room that they had to come and open for us, and it did not see. There wasn't any way to see in other than the door in front of them, and it didn't seem like a very safe environment for them. something that they all struggled with daily, again, was the bathroom. It seems to be a really big issue, as well as storage and finding different documents. And I asked just in case this vote were not to pass, I asked the employees what they would need to work in this building. And every one of them said no storage space, which with any of the other plans would be a difficult thing to do. I asked them if the space felt clean to them. They said that it's cleaned regularly, but with the old age coming with the building, that there's only so much that can be done, and things just will keep getting worse no matter what's done. And at the end of each interview, I asked if there's anything that they wanted to add. The answers varied, but the most important one, in my opinion, was, I can't remember which staff member said it, but it was that the administrative building that they work in does not represent the school district that it represents well. So me and Alex have worked with the business part of this. We'll have other programs. Unfortunately, not everyone can make it here tonight. Alex wants to say a few words about what we did.
So Adam had already mentioned things about meeting in this agreement, which was a very good thing for us to have done. That helped us with communication, and we mainly did like coordinating the project. So we went around the school and we'd go to all the programs involved in this and tried to get like a team built up for this project, and we informed them what they needed to do. So overall, this has helped me really good with communication, and I'm sure all of them have stuff that's going to help them too.
Alright, I would like to welcome up the students that are going to talk, if electrical would like to come up first.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miles Shane. I'm a senior here at Hammond Academy, and I've been in the electrical program. This will be my second year. When the opportunity was given to do a project like this, I instantly said yes because over the summer I was able to work and do electrical work, and it is extremely different from being in a classroom to actually doing physical work. I realized how actually difficult it is to, get up every day, do something physical and meaningful. Somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, my room, very dark. I need more lighting, or I need outlets done so I can just do my basic things every day." And I'm able to do that for them, and they're satisfied, which I'm very happy with. I'm very happy with being able to do something that makes their lives easier. And clearly, this building, as shown, would benefit a lot of people with their basic needs and what they would need to do every day for their jobs.
Hello, I'm also a representative from the electrical class of UTC, and senior year in Mandan as well. As Miles was saying, up on what the photos I saw, I've never been actually in this office, but the electrical, the outlets look absolutely horrendous, and just the lighting in it doesn't look that good as well. And as an electrical student, it would be a pleasure in a new building. We'd obviously upgrade all the outlets, new lighting with LEDs. I don't know if this old building might be so old, might have luminaires still, or not LEDs. And overall, UTC would be super glad to help build this building again.
Just thank you guys for letting me speak, and thank you for the opportunity to hopefully be able to do this kind of work.
Hello, my name is Rob Gupta, and I'm the representative from the Natural Resources and Outdoor Recreation Program. I'm a junior here at HA, and this is my first year at UTC. When I first heard about this project, I was really excited because, yes, we do landscaping work at UTC, but there's only so much we can do there because it's already set. It's like we can't rip everything out and build it from scratch. We have to work with what's already there, which is not a lot because it's annual, so we do it once a year, and then it's set for a year or maybe multiple if we're talking about the big trees. So this would be a really big chance for my entire class to come together and make a full plan that we can then execute and get the real world experience of how to do that and just the process. And the orchard, the apple orchard would actually be a really fun and creative challenge, because how do we do that? Do we try and take grass from the trees and replant them? Do we try and pick the trees up? And how do we save them with all that mechanical damage? It would just be a really fun and intuitive puzzle to try and solve that would give us the real world experience we need when we come across these things. If we're doing landscaping for house jobs and somebody really wants to keep this tree but it's all busted up, how are we going to do that? It'd just be really cool. As you know, we were talking, Mr. Raymond was talking about cutting the roots past the drip line, but roots have sort of three segments. You have the bigger part, the smaller part, and then the part that actually soaks up all the nutrients. If we cut it at a certain part, all the nutrients, picker-uppers, forgot what they're actually called, are gone. A lot of them are just gone. So then now that tree has to solve two problems, which would be very hard for it. Fix all the mechanical damage and regrow its roots so it can actually, stay alive. So it would just give us a great opportunity to figure out how this stuff works and how to plant something and just get our hands dirty, literally. Yeah, I'd be great for this program.
Good evening, everyone. Where are we? Oh wow, tough crowd. My name is Grady Pace, and I'm here from the Construction Operations Program. I am a first-year student, but I'm a senior. You might ask, that's kind of weird, but I've done two different programs. I've done small engines, and I've done construction operations, both of which have given me the necessary skills to run my small company. Run a small landscaping company where we service from Winterport all the way out till Trenton. And that small engines program taught me how to work on all of my equipment. And the construction operations program is only teaching me how to offer more service. UTC is a relatively big facility, but the construction operations footprint is confined to a relatively small dirt parking lot. And if you've spent any time around machines, you know they need quite a big area to work. We have 2 excavators, a skid steer, a tractor, and a couple of attachments for both the excavators and the tractor. We don't have all the space to run both those excavators, so one sits, which is also time for students to get seat time and training, and with a big program it's kind of hard. The smallest group that we've had is 3, and we do 15-minute rotations, and after the beginning of the day, we don't get much time outside. So to be able to be a part of a project like this, it would give us all time. And just in the EM construction operations program by itself, there's only 3 ending students. And in a class of 20, that's quite a big majority. But it would give us all time to own our skills, make some new ones, and overall greatly impact the Hamden facility and faculty. But that's all I have to say.
Here's the carpentry and shop.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Lynn White, and I am the carpentry instructor at UTC. And after talking to Mr. Booth last year, and going over the plans, the scale and the scope of it, you could see really obviously what opportunity this was going to give our students. There's a lot of skills that we can actually do in our shop, in our classroom, that are great, building tools to an end. But being able to really work on a hands-on project of this scale would create a really great opportunity for our students. So I guess today I'm just advocating for the students that we have in all the programs that you've heard from them. And just know that this would be, really advantageous, and we hope it's going to become a real asset, for the work that we do for your community. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to hopefully that our students will be able to do these skills and be able to apply them to this project. And thank you again.
So, thank you very much to the UTC representation. I know we're a small crowd, but can we give them a round of applause? I know what it's like to come up here at my age. Sometimes the nerves are a little more difficult, but for students like this, at this age, to do that in front of adults, you should be proud of yourselves. You did a nice job. Okay.
Just a question specific to this presentation. Is it only Hamden Academy UTC students, or is it all of UTC students that will be working on this project?
I think it depends on the program. As we heard, one student said there were 3 Hamden Academy students, but yeah, it'll be all.
Okay,
It'll be all students.
that's what I was thinking, but I wanted to.
Yeah, so I'm Amanda Peterson, I'm the director at UTC. So the students will end up being bused, and we'll work through all the logistics of those kinds of things, but it will be, there's 32 students, I think, in carpentry, there's, 24 over in the construction operations program, same thing over in natural resources, there'll be a number of students that will be impacted by this, and they're from 39 towns that support this region.
Thank you.
And I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, I will provide an opportunity for questions too, but we're okay with that. Okay, so this particular slide, again, disclaimer, November 4th referendum is voting on a modular facility. However, at the top, I put the 2 options here, because this slide, I think, is extremely, not that the other ones are not important, but I think this one is extremely important. This is where we really have all the numbers on one area. You can see the difference between all of them. So the options 1 and 2 are listed with the square footage, a little over 1.3 million, a little over 1.5 million. The referendum vote on November 4th, $977,000. This option is the only one where additional storage is not needed. All 3 of these, regardless of what we choose, again, we're using the modular as the referendum, but if we were to use the other 2, all 3 of those have to, by state statute, go to referendum. This one does not. And I really want to emphasize this. This, we don't have the concrete figures like we did up here. I will be very clear, this is Nick Raymond's figure, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. I took the model that had 621 square feet, and I figured out how much it was per square foot, and multiplied that by 599 square feet. Why, might you ask, did I multiply that by 599 square feet? Because the state statute allows the district to remodel the entire building and build an expansion of not to exceed 600 square feet without a referendum. The district does not want to do that. The board of directors has the authority to vote this right here, over $1.5 million, but the district does not want to do that because it is significantly cheaper to go the referendum route. And I wanted to point that out because they do have the authority to do that. This is the exact language from the referendum. The locations where the votes will take place, all of them are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you haven't seen it, You'll see it on November 4th or an absentee ballot. And one of the most important slides again, I feel like a broken record. How does this impact my, as a resident, future taxes? Simply stated, it does not. Why doesn't it? Because the money is already set aside. In the district budget meeting last year, the individuals, the voters that were present, approved to transfer the $1.6 million into a reserve account. And it is sitting there waiting for this bill. So there are no extra taxes, no extra requests. It's already there. So at this point, I am going to give anyone an opportunity to ask questions. There is a microphone up here. I would ask that you please, because we're recording it, so we'd like for you to come up to the microphone. Do you want to come up to the microphone? It is not on, so if you just flip it on, I'd reach it, but I'm afraid I'd fall down the stage. And the disclaimer, I will try to answer anything, and Mr. Booth will try to answer anything. If we cannot, we'll write it down and post it.
So you said turn the microphone on?
Yes.
So, I'm kind of
So you said this isn't gonna cost the taxpayers anything, but where did the $1.6 million come from?
That was from the unallocated fund balance that was designated to the reserve account.
Where did the money come from originally? Just curious.
That's just part of the carry forward money that's left over
But
from
it
years.
was out of the taxpayers, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Or state funding, would be state funding as well.
Okay. Now, when you, I'm just bringing this up because you said that it's like going to a dealership and paying for a car, the car's already paid for, or I feel like the taxpayers have already paid for this project. And I took notes. So what's gonna be done with the old building?
So the plan right now is to demolish the old building and make that area into parking.
Okay, would it be better to sell the property and put the money into the modular building?
That wasn't discussed,
Is that an option?
could be discussed.
Okay. As high as properties are right now, that is a viable option to offset the cost of the modular. And I know that there's enough parking around here to possibly offset the fact that you know, sell the building.
So I will say parking has been a big issue, specifically at Weatherby and McGraw. We have heard about it significantly with the lack of parking specifically around arrival and dismissal time. So that would possibly provide them some more parking. That piece of land is all owned, it's all one piece of property, so we would have to divide that piece of land.
How big is the property that the modular building will be going on?
It's all one piece of property, so it's from the road.
How big would the area be?
I don't have that with me. I mean, I know the building is 53 by 70, obviously we would need more than that for parking.
Right, because the picture looked like there's enough options there to have the modular building and parking. And if that were the case, then the building that's currently there could be sold to help offset the cost of whatever the modular building is to try to keep the money in the school district as opposed to just spending it.
Hi, my name is Betsy Chapman. I live in Hampton, and I have one comment and then a question related to this. Where do you think the state gets the money? It comes from this pocket. The local taxpayer comes from that pocket. But the funding, almost all of it, comes from the taxpayer. And the fact that there was a reserve amount you set aside meant we paid higher taxes.
I didn't set it aside, the citizens set it aside.
Someone set aside, the taxpayers paid a higher amount. And I'm not saying this is good or bad, I'm just saying that is your source of revenue, almost 100%. So the fact that it's state money, federal, it doesn't matter. We funded it. The second thing is, I am absolutely shocked with deferred maintenance on that building. And is this the way all our buildings are managed? Or do we do an adequate amount of the maintenance on a regular basis so that we don't have these kind of problems that only get bigger and bigger? Of course, water's the worst.
Bill can certainly talk about it, but I know that our buildings are maintained.
So the superintendent's building was the only one that was not
I
maintained?
think there were things in the past that were done prior to, but I can't speak to it
No,
before.
I know, I have a building that's 100 years old. People live in it, you know. So I'm really concerned about the issue about deferred maintenance. It's shocking. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Peter Witt, or many of you know me. Superintendent Raymond, I wanted to speak in support of some of your slides because of my history. I'm no longer affiliated with the school district. I used to be on the Education Foundation, but I work for a large company that's in the profession of quoting construction, renovation jobs to school districts, especially K to 12. And I wanted to comment on the increase from the original quote from 2020 or 21 to 2025, because I do that every day for a living, and I can confirm that that is actually a very moderate increase. I have no affiliation with that company that quoted the original job or these options a second time, and I have no affiliation with the modular company as well, but I can attest that if school districts come to us and they're asking us to requote jobs like that, which happens every day, 20 to 21%, I think, or maybe 22% was the number, is over a 4 to 5 year period, is actually relatively conservative. We quote jobs out after 5 years or 4 years, and they have 22 to 25% increases. So in my estimation, that comparison between a new building at just under $1 million versus 1.3 and 1.5 is probably, might actually even be larger. So I just wanted to attest to that from my own work experience. Thanks.
He and I apparently have testified or spoken before groups before, because my name is Jane Jarvie. I am a Hamden resident. My first comment is you're looking for storage space for files. Working at the Historical Society, we had a brand new, beautiful facility made, and we stored a lot of wonderful materials in the basement. And that huge storm we had a couple of years ago, we got 9 inches of water. So if you store your records and files, I'm requesting that you do it in a fashion where it is elevated at least 12 inches off of the floor, just to protect those documents. So that's a comment. On another point that was made is about the apple orchard. That was a student project, is my understanding. And there was mechanical damage done to it. And I think our UTC student that is in the agriculture section will tell you that there are ways to protect those trees, and one of them is to train your staff. There should have been no mechanical damage to those trees caused by the landscapers. But that's a frustration on my part. And these students are going to work on a wonderful project. If you came back 10 years from now and saw that project partially destroyed, I think you would be upset. The students that worked on the apple orchard and the instructor that worked with them or instructors, I would think are gonna be upset, so I am very pleased that you're looking at alternatives to save that. You have a projected cost of less than $1 million for construction. Have you received an estimate yet for taking down the older building and putting in the new parking lot? Is that all of the project, or is that going to come in as a separate request?
That is part of the 1.6 also. So everything encompasses within the 1.6.
And as far as you know, there's no asbestos in your building, and you have an estimate for bringing that building down for removal?
The only location where we don't know if there's asbestos is under the carpet. That's all it's going on that building and the flooring, so that if we were to go in and redo some of the flooring, we would have like a home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Leave that right there.
The only locations that we don't know if there's asbestos is underneath the carpet in the two offices. And we haven't inspected it because we don't, until we're gonna demo or replace the floor, we wouldn't do it. We're not replacing some of the other areas of flooring because there was no subfloor, there was a sub base and then, but there was no top on it. That's why we have all the cracking in the floor. And if we replaced it, it's just gonna crack again. Building's still moving. The ceiling tile, some of those will replace, and that's new ceiling tile, so it's not that we abandoned the building to go to the last one. The building is old, it's failing. We get a lot of mildew in the morning, at night, or during the day. We run 2 dehumidifiers constantly, and we still have all kinds of material there, because we also have air conditioner in each office, and we have a mechanical system that is original from 1969. So.
Thank you. My last question has to do with, and you alluded to maintenance. We have a beautiful brand new facility here because we had a superintendent that very effectively deferred maintenance to the point that a situation was created where the parents were appalled at the maintenance, yet when the town took over the skiing center, the yellow tape in the restrooms could be removed because washers were replaced. And I applaud the superintendent. At the budget meeting, he referenced what a great maintenance plan has been established, and I think it's probably due to your stewardship of maintaining the academic buildings, the instructional buildings. I don't know if that is done for the supplemental buildings, which would be the administration and the old fire station, those types of buildings. My hope is, and that there will be a maintenance schedule maintained for the new building, but has there been a projected cost for continued maintenance, but also for utilities compared to the old building?
I'm going to let Bill answer this because he did a nice job yesterday doing this with another group.
Our maintenance costs will be less in that building. We will have a maintenance plan. We'll have a landscape plan, a maintenance plan. Our energy costs should be less because we're gonna be LED lighting. We're gonna have new systems. We'll be better insulated. Right now, the building we're in is an R13 walls and probably about an R23 ceiling. That's another reason we get leaks, because we get so much heat going up. The new building, we expect it to be an R50 ceiling, which is higher than the code calls, but we're an R50 and we're an R23 in the walls. So,
Well, it's an exciting time. Thank you.
student from the agriculture that she was talking about, and I would like to confirm that yes, mechanical damage is completely avoidable when it comes to trees. And it's not even lack of training, it's just carelessness. Is you can easily avoid a tree with your mower or your weed whacker or whatever you're carrying, but nope, you just walk right by and you hit right on it. And mechanical damage is most likely the biggest reason that those trees don't have a good chance of surviving transplant and that those three are dead, is because as well as keeping up with making apples, they couldn't support themselves with the constant damage they were taking. And it's also probably why they aren't as big as they probably should be, is because they had to condense that energy that they would spend growing up into fixing and healing a wound. It's, like we do, like we create scars, except trees take so much longer to heal the wounds than we do, and take much, much more energy.
Thank you, Eric Jarvie Hamden. I've worked in this administration building, or had the privilege to work in this building when I attended budget committee hearings last year, or year before, I guess it was, and also when we met with the superintendent on some unique, and the building needs to be replaced. It absolutely needs to be replaced. I am not sure this is the correct time, and I'll tell you why. And I guess I would ask a board member, does any board member in the back of the audience know how much the budget referendum in June passed by? Anybody?
That's probably a couple dozen.
14 votes. 14 votes. I went out and asked the towns for what the vote was on the budget referendum in June, and I got the totals here if you want to look at it. The budget referendum passed by 14 votes. The public is not happy right now, board members. The public is not happy. And if you read the newspapers, there's a whole lot of school districts around the state who are not happy about what's going on with the budget. So I'm not suggesting that this is not a valued project. The $1.6 million has been set aside. I'm suggesting the timeline is inappropriate. I'm suggesting that we are not taking the time. We are 2 weeks away from the election, and we're just seeing this information tonight for the first time. And if we don't get any more voters than voted in the referendum, there might be 100 people here, but I would dare say there's going to be 800 people that didn't get this information that are going to vote in 2 weeks. I don't think we've done a good enough job in selling this project to the public to get it across the finish line in 2 weeks. And there's a lot of other contributing factors that I think are going to work against us. I tried to go out and find out what the history of fund balance was for FY 2025. It's not posted yet. The school district closed the books on June 30th. See all the yellow space on there? That's the blank spaces in the history of fund balance report for last year. The year before, it finished at 7.345 million or something like that. But you're asking the public to approve this referendum when we don't even have current information on what the carry forward was, what the excess surplus fund balance was for last year yet. Probably hasn't gone through the audit. Hamden's gone through their audit already. They closed the books at the same time. I'm looking at our mayor. Hamden's already has their audit, and they know what that figure is. We don't have that figure from RSU 22. So I did a deeper dive this last week since I last spoke to the school board, and I said, well, what are the subcommittee work that has been done in preparation for this that would have at least given me some indication about what built up to today? And we're always invited to go to the RSU 22 website and look up committee meetings, agendas, committee meeting minutes. I would challenge any one of you in here to go out and find the building committee agenda minutes or agendas. The budget committee. They can't, and I did finally find them, by the way. I did finally find them. And you know what? There's no access because I don't have privilege to read the files. Is that open communication with our public? It does concern me. And I think, again, I advocate that we need this. I think the timing is wrong. And by the way, if you go back and listen to, I think it's the September 27th school district board meeting, one of the school board members suggested that this might not be the proper time to, in fact, try to get this before the public. This is getting jammed through in a timeline that is way too aggressive, way too fast, and lacking specifics that are time appropriate for us to make an informed decision. Thank you.
I will just make a couple comments to Eric's points. Access to files, I don't know, we can certainly look at that. We did in July, August timeframe change over our internet platform, and I'm not sure if that's why, but that's the first that I've heard of it. And I know Nate Savage has worked diligently on the internet, so we'll take a look at that. I do know I've seen access to it, but it might be because I'm part of the system, so I'll take a look at that. The 2-week time frame, while I understand your point about not giving people the information prior to 2 weeks, the law is that we have to do this at least a week before, so we wanted to make sure we had all of our information put together before we did that, and so this was the most logical place to do that. You're right, the FY25 audit is not done. We have an audit, we have an auditor. If you look throughout the entire state of Maine, you'll find that there is a lack of auditors, and we are not alone. As a matter of fact, some districts just got 2 years ago audit just recently. So I hear you, and I wish that our auditors would work on the same schedule as a town auditor, but that's the nature of the beast in school districts right now, and it's been a struggle for all school districts. But our audit will hopefully be done the end of December, which by law is when it needs to be done, or we'll file for an extension if it's not done.
If I just add one thing, on a practical level, and another opportunity, if the hearing was at least a week prior to the absentee ballots going out, because I think it's been a couple weeks that they've been out there, so people perhaps have already voted. And
Hopefully.
you want the information out to them before that.
Understand. Hopefully we don't have to do this very often.
I'm just saying.
No, I hear, yes.
You know, that's such a long period we now have for absentee ballots is major.
Anybody?
I'm Jody Dickey, Hamden resident. I just wanted to, I really appreciate this project being done using the UTC students, but I'm worried about it not being able to be passed. What is the picture of it? What is the picture of the program? What you really do?
So of the building itself or the involvement of UTC?
No, the referendum doesn't pass.
So then we remain in our building.
Your name and your building, and you'll take it forward again.
We don't know.
Good evening, Matt LaChance, also Hamden resident and member of the Hamden Town Council, Council Chair. To speak on Eric's points, it is evident that this building does need to be replaced. And as a former UTC student myself, I would love to see that opportunity for these students and all the students be extended to them, and it would be a great opportunity for them in this community. However, with the expressed concerns of the short timeline and with the way it was presented with option 3, I would caution the board against ramming it through, if you will, with doing it with the more expensive way without a referendum vote if for some reason it doesn't pass in 2 weeks. If it does pass, so be it. But yeah, a little bit more clarity and further in the future, some more maybe advertisement, some more promotion for projects like this, a little bit more outreach throughout the community would be conversation has taken place around the community over the past 6 months over this topic and other topics. I'd love to see more turnout in this. And at that point, just to get out and vote, but also get out and speak to your neighbors and reach out to not only your elected representatives, but your staff that's here for you and here for your students. Questions answered, so that you're making informed decisions. Time to vote, because there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, ignorance going on when it comes to these conversations. I think a lot of questions have been answered here tonight. The need has been clearly expressed. As Eric said, the timing may not be right, but to what end?
Any other questions in the crowd? So again, if you have not grabbed one, and if you would like, there are 2 handouts on the podium. One referencing 2 state statutes that were not part of the presentation, the other being the floor plan of the building that will go off the referendum. Again, a big thank you to the UTC representation here tonight. I was hoping for a larger crowd, but thank you to the folks that did come out. Appreciate